welcome to your Asian Pulse TV, an informative and resourceful station. I'm your host, Mannie Randhawa. We are broadcasting from the unceded territories of Silvertooth Nation, Mokim, and Kwantlen Nations. We feel very blessed for the generosity of the first people of this land who let us share the traditional and sacred land with them. So, we are in the first month of the year 2023, January. January is loaded with great events and festivals, so let's talk about Lohri first. Lohri is a celebration of the arrival of longer days after the winter solstice, which makes it a popular folk festival in northern India and especially in Punjab region. The historical references can be found during the times of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, who would light a bonfire and he would distribute sweets and gifts. That's how it became famous. Following that tradition, now bonfires are lit, festive food is consumed, dancing is done, and gifts are exchanged. The level of excitement around Lohri celebration will rise in homes that have recently had a marriage or a baby girl delivery. That is why it is called Tiyan di Lohri. Now the next is Lunar New Year, which also called as Chinese New Year or Spring Festival, marking the beginning of a new year on the traditional solar Chinese calendar. And it is not only celebrated by the people in China, but also Vietnam, South Korea, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Japan, Philippines, and Indonesia. Let's take a short break and hear some words from our sponsors.
I understand how important it is to have a place called home, and it's frustrating using your hard-earned money on rent. Vic Prasad can make you a homeowner. Get pre-approved services provided to first-time buyers and new immigrants. You can qualify for mortgage even if you have bad credit. Call Vic Prasad now on 604-306-6647. Vic Prasad is associated with Craft Mortgages Canada Incorporated.
For any kind of visa-related services, contact Milky Way Immigration, a galaxy of opportunities located at Unit 209-9547 152 Street, Surrey, BC. They have licensed immigration consultants, placement officers, and LMIA experts to meet your immigration and recruitment needs. Book one-time free consultation either on Facebook or by calling 604-396-0005.
Arvind's Curry and Cocktail, Indian cuisine. They do catering for all occasions and they do free delivery. Please call 604-515-1070. Address is 420 6th Street, New Westminster. Open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. For deliveries, call 604-515-1070 or arvindscurry.com.
Bollywood Banquet Hall and Conference Center, located at Pile Business Center at 201-8166 128th Street in Surrey. No celebration is too small to accommodate you. They have newly renovated 2 halls to serve you, up to 1,000 guest capacity, top-notch chefs to delight you with delectable and heavenly cuisine. So just call Bollywood Banquet Hall at 604-598-2700 for your events. Venisi Mobile Detailing Services. They offer commercial trucks, cars, SUV, boats, bikes, RVs, and much more. Just give them a call at 778-808-2859. Just give them a call at 778-808-2859 and they will do all kind of services at your home. Thank you, sponsors. Canadian Blood Services are in dire need of blood donation. Due to snow this year, the turnover for blood donation was less, and hence there is more need than ever. If you're healthy and if you want to save lives, please make an appointment with the Canadian Blood Services and give generously. Today our guest is Bryce Roer, who is a cancer survivor. He's here to talk about his experience of this disease and how he overcame all the challenges and fought it. Let's have a look.
Now you can talk about what you said last week, that this is very difficult for you to share.
Yes, so I was talking about the phases of cancer that I went through. The first one was denial, then the second one is anger and fear. The third one was acceptance, and then love. Mm-hmm. But beyond love, I discovered another phase which really took me by surprise. And this phase was, I like to call it non-attachment. And what I realized was that it actually doesn't really matter if I die or not. Because I may feel pain, but I am not the pain. I am not the body or the mind. I'm just experiencing cancer, but I'm not the cancer. I'm not a cancer patient. And once I realized that, it gave me a lot of freedom. It gave me a lot of sense of, oh, it's okay. Whatever is happening, it's okay. It doesn't mean I'm not going to try or make things better, but whatever happens, I'm okay with it. And that was the place where I felt completely free. And I don't know if that has contributed to my cancer recovery, but just to give you what the next steps of the story, what happened next is that after doing 1 act of kindness per day for 1 year, I went back to my doctor and we did a scan. And the results came back and the doctor said, it looks like you're cancer-free now. The tumor is shrinking and there's evidence in your body, there's less inflammation. He says, I can't say as a Western-trained physician that love cures cancer, but there's physiological change in your body, and maybe being surrounded yourself by love and kindness may have contributed to your medical success. I'll take that answer anytime.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was very grateful. And this was without surgery, without chemo, without medication, without any medical intervention, just simply scans between 1 year
1 year to another
to
year.
another year, and completely changing my whole lifestyle, my whole way of thinking, my beliefs, my doing a lot of emotional work, a lot of letting go of grief, expressing my boundaries, learning how to give and to receive. Receiving is also very difficult. And just completely humbling myself to the whole journey and learning to become a completely transformed person. I was not the same person I was. It really, in order to not have cancer, I had to change who I was. I had to literally become a different human being. The old Bryce can no longer continue if I was going to heal myself. I had to completely change who I am. And it's not an easy task. So I can completely appreciate and understand why, someone would want to go through surgery or chemo or anything of that nature. And I'm not against that. I think it's important to listen to your doctor and whatever they recommend. And at the same time, also to tune into your intuition, because there may be some alternative things as well that are important to consider. There are a number of things that I think are important to do if someone is listening here who has cancer. So a number of those things would be, number one, of course, listen to your doctor and do whatever conventional treatments that they recommend. And at the same time, also take this opportunity to really, depending on what stages you are in, take this opportunity to really look into transforming your life, because there's a number of things that you can do, not just with diet. A lot of people focus on diet and exercise, and yes, diet is important. There's a lot of things you can do with your diet. Of course, the typical things like avoid sugar, avoid inflammation in food. There's some studies that shows that ketogenic diets are very effective for cancer. So that just means like having a diet higher in fat and less in carbs. Anything you can do to starve off the cancer is good in terms of diet. Exercise and meditation, anything that reduces stress and inflammation. Avoiding EMF, electromagnetic fields, cell phone, Wi-Fi. There's some controversial studies on this, but if you have cancer, you want to have all the stacks in your favor. So you want to avoid any form of inflammation if possible. But at the same time, you don't want to live in fear either. So being in a place of peace and acceptance of what is incredibly much more important. So part of that is really to do a lot of deep emotional work. So discovering what type of lifestyle we were living in around the time when we start to feel sick or symptoms. And it's important to discover that and to come to a place of complete healing and transformation within, because emotions does lead to a lot of stress. In fact, there's a study to show that loneliness is worse than smoking 15 cigarettes per day. So if loneliness has this kind of impact, what about stress? Stress is one of the number one killer, I believe.
Yeah.
So, And the biggest stress I found, and I'll tell you what I'm up to now.
Yeah.
What I discovered is that as I was doing acts of kindness, giving people money or
Doing some good deeds.
doing good deeds of that nature, I found out that sometimes helping others can hurt them. And kindness can be a negative thing sometimes. And charity can be toxic. There's even a book called Toxic Charity about that goes deep into this topic. And I was really surprised because, sometimes you want to help someone and you think you're doing good, but sometimes it may just perpetuate the very problem that they're trying to get away from. So I'll give you an example. That saying that says, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. But sometimes when you give a man a fish, he may sell the fish for cocaine.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to look at the whole person. So that's when I realized, whoa. When I started to realize that sometimes my acts of kindness made actually someone even worse off, I started to feel terrible. I thought, oh my gosh, maybe the thing I thought was good is maybe not a good thing. So I started to pause that and to really think to myself, what kind of act of kindness I can do that will be a better thing to do. And I realized that, you could give a man a fish, feed him for a day, or maybe you can teach a man to fish, I thought.
Yeah.
Teaching a man to fish, I thought would be a better thing, maybe helping people with their employment or something of that nature. And I thought, I could do that maybe. But then, even then, if they stop fishing, there's no more fish. If they get a disability,
Yeah.
they cannot fish anymore. But I thought, what if you show people how to buy the world's best fishing companies? The fish keeps coming.
Yes.
And also teach them to be happy
Yeah.
with what they have, so they don't just sell the fish for cocaine. Because that's when I realized, maybe I need to teach people how to remove the number one stress that they have, which is about money.
Yeah.
And I was very fortunate to have grown up in a family where financial literacy was a big thing. My grandfather was an investor. I've learned a lot from my family in that realm. So I thought, what if I just teach my friends, families, and the people out there that are always reaching out to me for some support, how to really get ahead, how to have financial literacy, so they can be at peace, have some security, and then finally fulfill their dreams and do whatever they want to do.
Don't have to worry about how the bill's going to be paid.
Exactly. Because now, especially now as you live with COVID, there's a lot of people are stressed with finances,
Yeah.
right? But finances is not just one thing that people are stressed about. It's just a symptom of something deeper, I think. Because when people, like if you look at a couple, for example, when couples argue about money, it's never about money. It's about what money means to them,
Yeah.
right? Because for someone, maybe it means security, and the other one means maybe for pursuing a dream, right? So that's just one area of stress that people have, and then it impacts their relationship. And then guess what? If you're fighting a lot, that impacts your health.
Yes.
And you can see how the dominoes start to affect it. You impact your health, then all of a sudden you have inflammation, or you have stomach pain, or you have headaches, or you have heart problems, right? All these things are all connected. So it's really important for people to heal their relationship with money, and to heal their relationship with themselves, and with each other, with their relationship if they have a spouse, or with their parents or children. All these things are part of the healing process, the healing journey, of which money is just one. Of
I
the
think
important
with
factors.
money, when you say money, even the world's richest men, they are not saying to themselves that, okay, I made enough money, fine, I'm done. No, how can I make more? How can I make? So there is no end to that. You
No
will keep
end.
thinking about how to make more. I was going to ask you, so what, I know sometimes we say that we need to eat food. Food is a medicine itself. How can you heal your soul? So you, being a cancer survivor, what were the things that you were in eating that healed your cancer in first place, and secondly, made you who you are, and you are sitting here?
I'm so glad you asked this question, because I find this question is one of the biggest myths that people have about cancer. It's very similar to people thinking that if only I buy a lottery ticket, then I'll be wealthy. So food, what you eat, is not as important as how you eat it. In what state of mind you are when you're eating it. Are you eating the food while you're stressed out? Eating fast? Are you eating a broccoli really fast and you're stressed out and you're thinking about, you're worried and you're stressed about what you're eating? Or are you eating something and feeling peace in your body and you're relaxed and you're happy and you're eating it with gratitude? And you're eating it in the surrounding of, you're eating it with your wife or your husband, which you have an amazing relationship with. You're not fighting all the time. You can eat the best, most healthy organic food, but if you're stressed out with your relationship, whatever you eat, it's like eating organic stress. It's not going to help your body. So this is why I said, again, yes, food is important, but it's more so the state of being that you're in, the entire person, which stress is one of the biggest components. So food can cause stress. Certain foods that are not suitable for your body can cause stress. So, and I think it is important to find a functional medicine doctor who can look and do some certain tests to find out what food are best suited for you. So there are certain foods that simply are not, that cause more inflammation, that you may be intolerant to. And especially once you have cancer, there's certain foods you simply cannot digest because they're just harder to digest and they cause more inflammation. But again, what's interesting is that, yes, you could avoid all those foods that give you inflammation, but then you're very limited to only very few foods, which was my experience. At some point, I was allergic to so many foods, I could only eat carrots and like a few things. So my food was very limited, and I don't recommend that for anybody. So yes, it's important to find out what types of food to eat. Again, ketogenic diets are typically better for cancer patients, which means a diet higher in fats and lower in carbs. Doing that is most likely going to give you better outcomes for cancer. But more so, it's also how you eat it, how it's prepared, in what state of mind you are when you eat that. That, they found, is way more important than what you actually eat. In fact, there are some people that eat junk food and they're perfectly fine, even though they may have some terrible outcomes. So I found that very interesting because remember, I was eating organic and healthy food before I had cancer, and I still had cancer. So it's a myth. It's not just about the food, and this is something that I really want, if anybody is listening here, it's not just food, guys. It's not just exercise. You really need to look at your life and look at what sorts of stress that's around you that is causing a lot of inflammation. So take care of your food, but also take care of your spirituality. Take care of your relationships, your emotions, your relationship with yourself. That is really where the source of the stress is. And once you take care of that, you'll find that you'll just feel happier and peaceful, and even what you eat will just digest way better. And then you'll actually be able to enjoy the benefits of the food that you're eating. So that's what I would recommend someone who has any form of health challenges in life.
They say in lifetime, 1 out of 2 person will be diagnosed with cancer anytime in their life, because we live in a society that we do everything wrong. And like you say, cancer is inflammation in your body. And if you can avoid that, or don't worry, don't stress yourself out, and you can have a healthy life. So I was going to say, what would you like to say to our viewers that are watching, or they must be going through this turmoil of a loved one diagnosed with cancer or something like that? And how long have you been cancer-free?
I was cancer-free since 2016.
Okay.
It's been many years now, and thankfully still am.
So every year you go and have it checked out?
Yeah, tumor is completely gone.
Oh, okay.
And I'm completely fine now.
Oh, okay.
So I'm very grateful. And what I would say to people who have a loved one with cancer is, a lot of people focus on the people that have cancer, but they forget about the caregivers. The caregivers are the hidden victims as well.
Yeah.
And it's very stressful for, the family, friends. So I would say, again, it's very challenging. It's very challenging. But it's so important also do your best and leave the rest to God.
Yeah.
And coming to a place of acceptance. And the thing that I really did not like that people did a lot when I had cancer is everybody had a magic cure for me. Right? Everybody was telling me stuff, and they mean well, but unless the person is ready to receive, it will not go through. So the most important thing you can do is to be there. Your presence is very important. Holding someone's hand can make a huge difference. Literally, it reduces the stress in your brain. They say like it changes the brain chemistry. Just being present, your love and your presence is incredibly healing. So if you have someone that you know, your love, your presence is something you can give them. The other thing is, again, you can certainly plant seeds, planting seeds of knowledge, living as a role model yourself, making their life easier in any way that you can, because when you do have cancer, you cannot do a lot of things for yourself. So taking care of their basic necessities, doing shopping for them, groceries, taking care of the basic things, making their life comfortable. I would say these are the best things that you can do. And I know that many people are busy. We live very busy lives. So if you can create a support network for them, organizing friends and family and caregivers and well-meaning people that just can come visit and support and help a little bit, that can make a world of difference. That's what I would recommend for someone who has a loved one with cancer. And again, maybe sending this message, this interview, because it's very easy to lose hope when you have a diagnosis. But when you do know and you hear about stories of other people who have had cancer and who have recovered, they're out there.
Yes.
I'm here.
Yeah.
And you know what, Kamila? Like a long time ago, I was watching videos of other people who had miraculous cancer recovery stories, and I thought to myself, wow, they're so lucky,
Yeah.
But this cannot be me. There's no way it's me one day.
Yeah.
And then it happened to me, right? So there is hope.
There is always
The
hope,
human body and your faith, your hope, your beliefs, the mind is a very strong thing as well.
Yeah.
And the spirit, whatever religion you're from, the spiritual aspect is also very, very important. I'm here because of a lot of grace, truly. I think it maybe a little bit is something I did, but 99% is the grace of God. So I do believe reconnecting with our spiritual path also is one important aspect to recovery. So that's what I would recommend viewers or anyone who's going through cancer.
Thank you so much, be able to come and educate me and educate thousands that are watching you today and what your recovery was like. And those people, they are saying, we are giving up all the hopes and we are just going to depend on the doctors. But we have to depend on ourselves too and be a fighter, that you have never fought this kind of disease ever before. Don't never give up into something. And I think the will to live is very powerful itself.
Thank you for speaking out about your experiences. Now we'll take a look at the upcoming events. Bell Let's Talk, which was launched in 2010, is marked on January 25th this year. It is an annual mental health initiative that focuses on how we can support ourselves and those in our community by listening, talking, being there for them. So check out the website letstalk.bell.ca. PICS Mega Job Fair is taking place on Monday, February 6, 2023 at the Italian Cultural Center located at 3075 Slocum Street in Vancouver near the Renfrew Station. For more information, please call Lily Dundral at 604-596-7722. Showman Events is bringing another stand-up comedy show in Abbotsford on February 25th, 2023 and a Festival of Colors, Holi, being celebrated in Langley on March 10th, 2023. Details will be released soon. Sahas Community Service Society provides a helpline for people who are in crisis and need to talk to someone. They offer critical support, information, and resources for families and individuals in need. Everything is kept confidential, so dial 604-900-9221. If you have missed our show today, you can watch it again tomorrow. night at 8:30 and again on Saturday at 5:30 p.m. on Shaw Cable. All of our shows are also uploaded on YouTube channel under Asian Pulse TV. Before I leave, I want to leave you with these thoughts. Your hardest times often lead to the greatest moments of your life. So stay strong, stay tough, because tough situations build strong people in the end. Happy Lohri, happy Chinese New Year to all of our viewers from our family. And with that, have a wonderful week. I'm your host, Mannie Randhawa.
नमस्कार, मैं हूँ कमिला।
सत श्री अकाल, मैं हूं मैनी रंधावा।
जी, आज हम बैठे यहाँ पर हैं इस चेयर में दोनों साथ साथ, और एक ऐसी बात करने के लिए हम बैठे हैं जो कि कुड़ी मुंडे दी लोहड़ी।
बिल्कुल जी, बिल्कुल लोहड़ी ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਐਂਡ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਾਂਗੇ ਲੋਹੜੀ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਮਨਾਈ ਜਾਂਦੀ, ਕਿਉਂ ਮਨਾਈ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਉਹ ਸ਼ਖਸ ਨੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਲੋਹੜੀ ਨੂੰ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਲੋਹੜੀ ਮਨਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਰਵਾਇਤ ਨੂੰ।
जो कुड़ी मंडी दी लोहड़ी है, यहाँ पर 20-25 साल से पहले, मैं तो यहाँ पे काफ़ी दिनों से है, जब इन्होंने पहले शुरू किया था वो थी तिरंजन सोसाइटी। इसमें जो तिरंजन सोसाइटी है, इसमें सब लड़कियाँ हैं। ऑल द गर्ल्स गॉट टुगेदर एंड दे स्टार्टेड सेलिब्रेटिंग कुड़ी मंडी दी लोहड़ी।
ਤ੍ਰਿੰਜਨ ਸੁਸਾਇਟੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਟਾਰਚ ਬੇਅਰਰ ਹੈ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖਦਿਆਂ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਹੀ ਸੰਸਥਾਵਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਲ ਓਵਰ ਵਰਲਡ, UK, ਕੈਨੇਡਾ, ਆਸਟ੍ਰੇਲੀਆ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕੁੜੀ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਦੀ ਲੋਹੜੀ।
जी हाँ, इन द पास्ट एवरीबॉडी वाज जस्ट सेलिब्रेटिंग लोहड़ी फॉर मुंडे, लेकिन ये जो संस्था है वो कुड़ी और लड़कियों का शुरू किया है। अभी दुनिया में सब लड़की लड़का दोनों को मनाया जाता है।
ਐਂਡ ਕਮੀਲਾ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਵਿਟਨੈਸ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ। ਹੁਣ
Yes.
ਦੱਸੋ ਕਿ ਹੋ ਕਦੋਂ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ?
अच्छा, ये हो रहा है डालीवाल बैंक्वेट हॉल में 22 जनवरी को। वो शुरू होएगा 4 बजे और इज गोना गो ऑल नाइट। इट्स द
Awesome.
इवेंट। It's
Awesome.
about 1,000 people come there, and I have been participating in that for last 20 years.
ਗ੍ਰੇਟ ਜੀ, 22 ਜਨਵਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਧਾਲੀਵਾਲ ਬੈਂਕੁਏਟ ਹਾਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। See you all
See you
there.
there.